Say it with me, folks. Animals are cool. Of course they are. You wouldn't have clicked this video if you didn't think that. Whilst we have explored a lot of our planet already, there is very little known about a lot of the ocean life. And it's surprising how absolutely little we actually know about a lot of the animals that are under the waves. Particularly with many species who maybe we haven't even discovered yet. And yes, I hear you say, how is that possible? Surely we've managed to explore much of the world already, which, you're not wrong, but when it comes to the oceans, we have explored about 5% of it. Yes, we have a lot to uncover here. Just to put this into perspective, we have better maps of the moon than we do our own ocean floor. That just kind of puts into perspective how little we know about it. One such animal is the giant squid, a creature which, as you might imagine by the name, is pretty big, but for some strange reason is so elusive that humans have had little to no contact with it. And by the very few times we do, it is truly a fascinating sight to behold. Hello! Welcome to Brainspill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and with the name Giant Squid, like I said, you'd think that this giant squid would be pretty easy to find. But surprisingly, it's not. And maybe you don't believe me, and hell, if I was watching this video for the first time, I would probably agree. But I'm going to give you some context just to explain why these animals are so difficult to find. The giant squid, as the name describes, is a squid, but particularly giant. The squid is a species of deep-sea dwelling squid, able to grow to a size of about 12 to 13 meters in length or 43 foot. Some claims state that giant squid have been spotted to be upwards of 20 meters in length, but these have yet to be scientifically documented. If you were in any doubt, 20 meters is longer than a bus, so you can kind of get an idea how big some of these things can possibly be. Yes, these things can get pretty big. However, according to a giant squid expert named Steve O'Shea, such lengths were likely achieved by greatly stretching the two tentacles like elastic bands. Big, long, stretchy arms. A handheld camera was invented in 1888, and today is the year 2022. So, I want you to take a guess when the first photograph of a giant squid was taken. The correct answer was the year 2004. Yes, to say that we have had access to technology where we can take pictures for quite some time, it is really surprising that it's only been in the year 2000s that we've actually managed to capture one on film. And yes, whilst this baffles me, we have always sort of known that these creatures exist, but like I said, they're just that elusive. You do see many oldie world pictures of ships being attacked by a large kraken, almost like we saw this thing in the water, not known what the hell it is, and then started to spread stories that a giant squid was in the deep seas. I would have thought this was a bit silly, but given that there have been multiple reports of a giant squid being more than 20 meters long, this doesn't seem so crazy anymore. These things tend to be around the world, but as a deep sea creature, it makes sense that they are not spotted often, and only in exceptional circumstances when one would come to the surface. And even if someone did manage to catch one, then I guess it's calamari for lunch. As a matter of fact, if you went online and typed in giant kraken, a lot of the images you'll see are paintings of pictures of giant squid fighting what seems to be sperm whale. It just so happens to be a popular image that you see on these types of things, but this isn't actually accurate, mainly due to the fact that scientists have realised that the giant squid is actually the prey of a sperm whale. So, the more you know. We have known a lot about the giant squid for some time, and know whereabouts they are in the world, but this is largely down to the carcasses that float to the surface, which are then found by fishermen. So we do science things to them and learn a lot about them. And I'm sure you can think of a number of wonderful experiments they would have done on them. So, despite all this research, we have actually never really seen them on film. Until now. This was the first footage ever taken of a giant squid on film. The first video of a giant squid, which was as recent as 2006, when researchers simply suspended bait off a research vessel until one came to the surface to take a bite. And after all that, it seems like it's actually quite easy to get one on film. This one was a little baby squid though, and it was first confirmed to be a giant squid after it came to the surface. So this was a good jumping off platform. You could do some more research and see if you could get footage of a large, adult-sized giant squid in its natural habitat, in the depths. In 2012, another group of scientists from Japan's National Science Museum filmed a giant squid in its natural habitat for the first time, deep underwater. But we can do one better, I'm sure. Dr. Eddie Widder and her crew of fellow scientists and ocean crew went back out in 2019 for a further ocean expedition to the Gulf of Mexico for a 2-week exploration to test some new technology and to see if they could spot anything surprisingly unique, such as a giant squid for example. However, they weren't going to half-bake this, they were prepared. You see, the problem they've had before is every time these scientists get a submersive vessel, which they put underwater, the engine is pretty loud, which they think scares away the giant squid. But they decided that they were going to do it a little bit differently. They wanted something that was going to attract the squid, rather than scare it away. Therefore, the vessel they adopted had a camera fitted called the Medusa, with a special lure to attract deep-sea animals. The lure is silent, and let out a light pattern which mimics that of a deep-sea squid, something familiar to try and bring one closer near the boat. So, if you can't beat them, trick them to come closer. That's how you outsmart a giant calamari. The vessel had 5 cameras, which took 24 hours each to complete the recordings, and then the crew had to sit down and review the almost 120 hours of footage. Kinda like me when I make a video and then skim through the timeline to make sure that I didn't make any major cock-ups. Not foolproof by any means, but at least it captures most of the mistakes. However, the team were in luck because after reviewing all the footage, this is what they saw. This is one of the few times these creatures have ever been caught on film. We all proceeded to go slightly nuts. We know so little about how these animals survive in the depths. This helps us learn something more about how they hunt and their energy budget, but we need to know a lot more. And do you know what? This footage might get claimed. On this video, I kinda don't care, because I think this is amazing, and these squid are hella cool, and I think you guys need to see it. So hopefully I don't get claimed, but we'll have to see. Provided we don't absolutely fuck the ocean up, we will hopefully be able to keep researching and getting even more amazing pictures of these animals in their natural habitat. We might even be able to discover even more amazing creatures that we just haven't seen yet. Maybe. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. We all know the giant squid is pretty giant, and whilst they are there in the ocean, they are very elusive. So, my theory is that there is an even bigger ocean animal who is even more elusive, so elusive in fact, that we haven't seen one for hundreds of thousands of years. Yes, we are talking about my boy, the Mosasaurus. Somewhere he's out there. There's 95% of the ocean we haven't explored yet. My Mosasaurus is out there somewhere. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.